Hi everybody, and welcome to video 1 in the Essential Ephemera Bundle series. Now this is my design team project for LineDotArrow, and it's also a collaboration project between LineDotArrow and Nonstop Papercrafts. Now I'm not going to go through, even though I'm on the nice wooden board, I'm not going to go through and do flip throughs of the kits, first of all, because I haven't printed them all out. And second of all, and you'll know why in just a second, and second of all, because LineDotArrow and Nonstop Papercrafts, they have both done flip throughs on their channels. I think I'm going to be on the 12th or something starting this, so their videos are posted on the 2nd, so go back to the 2nd of June and you'll find those videos. You'll also find the first week's freebies at LineDotArrow and LineDotArrow Junk Journal group, Facebook group, and at the Nonstop Papercrafts Facebook group. Let's see, and the challenges, the first week challenges will be there on the 8th as well. The freebies will be there on the 8th. I think I said that, but I'm not sure if I did. Okay, so now what's involved? Let's just give you a quick overview. The Essential Ephemera Bundle is exactly what it sounds like. It's 21 pages of ephemera, and they've both done it in color. Let me do it this way. They've both done it in color and in sepia. Now, what that means is you're going to have 42 pages in each kit, so that's going to equal 84 pages of ephemera. Now, I am not cutting out 84 pages of ephemera. I'm cutting out 42. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our journal, our ephemera holder. We're going to make that in sepia so that it's nice and neutral. And then I'm going to cut out all the ephemera in color. Now, I don't normally work with ephemera mixed from one kit to the next, but I'm going to do my best to make an ephemera holder for you. Now, this is the sepia backing papers that come with the two kits. Okay, so there's this one. I think I printed out 4. Oh, let me talk to you about the printing real quick if you haven't seen any of my videos where I've used European sizes. If you have, you can skip forward by about a minute. I wanted to let you know that this is European size, so it prints out differently on US paper, and in fact on these I didn't do it because they're backing papers. I printed them out fit to page, which made me lose a little bit of the edge of the picture. So normally these would be shorter and just a little bit narrower on the page, printed out the way you're supposed to print out these. If you don't do it on these, you're going to lose the edges of some of your ephemera, and then you have to print it again, and you do not want to print 42 pages or 84 pages of ephemera twice. I promise you, you don't. Okay, so heed my advice here. Turn off your fit to page, turn off your full page, and print it that way. Then you're going to have to cut off borders, but you're cutting out all ephemera anyway. If you're cutting out with a scan and cut, double check on the Nonstop Papercraft images. They're lighter, it seems like, a little bit, and they don't have borders, so you may have to trace around it all when you go to cut it out, or cut it out by hand. It's up to you. Now, back to these. These are the backing papers, and I did print them out fit to page, but not borderless, and so I lost a little bit of the edge. If I was going to lose a little bit of the edge on a backing page like this, I should have just made it full page. Anyway, and then there's, where's the other one? Is it below? It must be. So I printed out 4 of these. 1, 2, oh, I know why. 3, 4 of these. And there's one more backing paper in the LineDotArrow half of the kit, and it's got flowers on it. It's not really a kind of a repeatable pattern, or I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and print it out a couple of times. We're going to be using it a lot because we're going to be using this one mostly for the pages in our journal. Now, what kind of journal are we going to make? Well, kids, get ready for this. We are going to make a lap book with 2 journals in it, and the 2 journals and the lap book sections on the inside are all going to be ephemera holders. Now, this is what we're going to do. I know that's a little bright. Oh, it's not as bright for you as it is for me in person. This is a neon card. So what I've done is I've calculated out what sizes I'm going to need. We're going to need 2 bigger cover pieces, 2 pieces that are a 1/4 of an inch smaller. I know these are not to scale. Then we're going to need 1, 2, 3 spines. We're going to need a 3-inch spine, a 1.5 inch spine, and another 1.5 inch spine, because 1.5, 1.5 equals 3. We're going to need 2 5 3/4 by 7 3/4 backboards or book covers, and we're going to need 2 5.5 by 7 3/4 book covers. And these are just the cardboard part, not the paper part. Well, it will be papered, but then that's going to leave a little gap, and then the whole thing's going to be a little bit longer. So if you add all this together to see how much why are my words gone today? Cardboard that you're going to need, then remember that if you're using lightweight chipboard, which is what I was trying to think of, that's about the thickness of a cereal box. So you can substitute a cereal box and glue 2 layers together to give yourself enough strength and less bendability. How you like that word? I think I made it up. I'm not sure. So then don't forget that you're going to need 2 4 5.5 by 7 3/4, 2 4 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, so that you can glue them together. The same with the spines. You're going to need 2 each of the 1.5 by 7 3/4. Now you're thinking all these numbers floating around in your head, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to make a PDF out of this for you guys for free. And just go over to the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group or the Junk Journal Tutorials and More Facebook group on the first day that this series comes out. When I post the album that has all the pictures of everything in it for this project, then I will post this PDF in the files for you, and you can download it and you can look at it and you'll have all your measurements. Okay, how does that sound? Okay. So I'm going to stop this part of video 1 here, and I am going to start trimming and cutting out ephemera. Now let me tell you this. I'm going to be cutting out everything because I'm going to use my scanning cut. So but those of you cutting out by hand, you might want to consider this. When you have a section like this of repeating ones, you may want to just cut around this section and put it in one of the larger section pieces, pockets that we're going to have. You don't need to cut every single one of these out ahead of time unless you want to. But you could just cut this whole like section out of the page. Let's see if I can find any example. I'm looking at all the cards here. This is the exact page that I was pointing at. Okay, so if you're going to not be using these all at once and you don't want to cut them out all at once at first, just cut around this section right here and store it like you would a postcard or a guest check in your ephemera holder, and then you'll know that you have it. Make them, well, then it won't be with your other small ephemera, will it? I'm going to have to seriously think about this because I've never made one of these before and I've never used one before. So it's easier if you've used one before to know what you need and what you don't need. Because if you cut this out around here, then it's not going to fit in your tiny ephemera section, is it? So I'm going to have to think about that. Maybe I'll make rows of tiny ephemera holders on one side of the page and two bigger ones on the other side of the page, so that if you want to put something like this in there, in with your tiny ephemera, you can. That's one solution. So I'm going to have to think about that when I'm planning this out. I am going to use the method of that I normally use when I make a journal, which is using cream colored cardstock, cutting out the pages in half, decorating, which is going to be adding all the pockets everywhere first on the papers, and then gluing them into the book. And the reason I'm going to do that is because then it'll be, each page will be 3 papers thick, and it'll be a lot more sturdy for you to have all that stuff stuck in there and have that weight on the page. Okay, so there's that as well. I've been thinking ahead a little bit. So let me get all this cut out, and let me get the cardboard cut out, and I will come back to you in the next part of this video and we'll get started. Okay? All right, I'll see you then. Okay, we're back. Oh, I don't know why I have this back out. We're in the middle. We're not at the beginning. It just goes to show you where I'm at. Okay, so what I've done while we were gone is I've cut the pieces, and I reevaluated and decided that they needed to be 8 inches tall because our papers are 7.5. So then the cream colored paper is going to be 7 3/4, and that means this needs to be 8 to give us our little double border around. Okay, I should have adjusted the width to 5 3/4, 5 3/4, and then 6 6, but I already had them cut. It was too late. I had 4 pieces of 12 by 12 lightweight chipboard, and I was able to make the pieces that I need double and glue them together from the 4 chipboard pieces. So if you go ahead with the 5.5, 5 3/4, 5 3/4, then 5.5, the spines were fine at 1.5, 1.5, and 3. Then you can cut all of it out of 4 12 by 12s. Okay, and 4 was all I had. It was kind of funny. I was like, can I do it? Can I do it? So what I did was I cut them off to 8 inches, and then I turned it sideways, and I did 5.5, 5.5, and then I had a bit left. Then I did 5 3/4. I cut it off at 8, and I did 5 3/4, 5 3/4, and I had a little bit left. Then the one where I had more left, I was able to cut the 1.5 out of that, 4 of those out of the 4 pages. Then on the ones that I had, where I had cut the 8 inches first, and I had these bigger pieces, I was able to get 4 3x8s. I cut them off at 8, so I had 4 3x8s so I could glue them together. And then I had 4 1.5s by 8, and I was able to glue those together. And so, like puzzle pieces, it came together, and it was exactly almost, I mean, there was like 2 squares and 2 long strips. That was it. So you can do that. All right, then I glued the pieces together. I wrote what they were when I cut them. Then I glued them together, cardboard side to cardboard side, so I had it written. And then I laid them out like I was going to use them, and I numbered them. Only on one side, even though I meant to number them on both. There's 7 pieces. I just did one with 9, so I don't feel bad. This goes here, and then this goes here. It's going to take 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11s to make the paper for the one side, the big solid side. And I cut them off at 10 inches high. So instead of being 8.5 by 11, they're 8.5 by 10. Because at 8 inches tall, I know I want an inch at the top and an inch at the bottom, and that makes it 10 inches. So instead of trying to cut an inch off when I got done, I just went ahead and cut the papers to 10 inches tall. Okay, then I took 3 of the 4 so far, and I glued them together end to end with just a little overlap with some glue. And now we're going to do the last one. I need to pick these back up. And I actually placed this one first on the paper, so I'm going to put it in the number 1 position, even though it's the second piece. So we're going to have this laying like this. Try to glue them all from one side so that your overlap on the top going one way is all on the same side. You know what I mean? Don't glue this to the underside after you glue these 2 to the top side. It just looks better. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You guys know how I am. So we're going to glue this together. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough glue to do this. I hope I will. I have 5 days before I get paid. And then it takes a couple days to get here. So, and no, or yes, I do have art glitter glue, but it dries so fast that I can't really work with it now that I'm used to SavageArt. I'm used to having that little bit of wiggle time. See, like right here. Okay. So we've glued that. We're going to flip it over, make sure we don't have a whole bunch of glue oozing through, because this is going to be our outside section. So then we're going to take our first piece, we're going to glue it on the spine right here, about 1 inch up. And then when we put this one here, that gives us more than 1 inch, but we're going to have space left over at the other end as well. And I want to try to get the spines on the seams if I can. So I'm going to glue this. It doesn't matter which side. I don't know why I flipped it over. We're going to glue this to the paper. And the spines, you can have a little bit of trouble with them bubbling up or not having enough glue on the edges. I had that problem with the 9-piece one that I had. Make sure we get right up to the corners. And we're going to turn this over. We're going to go about 1 inch up. And then we're going to glue it, and we're going to try to get it all lined up on the center. And we're going to glue it on. Now I have this tool that will help with spacing them. However, I've noticed it's just a smidge wide, believe it or not. It just felt a little loosey-goosey on the last one that I did. Not a lot, but just a smidge, and I was just kind of not really happy with it. And it was a super duper job, and I thought it turned out really well, and then it was just a little loose. I didn't like it. These, you just need to glue them to the paper. You don't have to go super crazy. I don't anyway. I don't seem to have trouble. Some people do. I don't know why. I think it's the thickness of paper that they use. I use 65 pound. And the brand I use is Neenah, N-E-E-N-A-H. I get it on Amazon or at Walmart. Walmart's cheaper, but it's 125 pages less. So if $125 is worth, or 125 pages is worth $3 to you, then I would say go for it at Amazon. I'm almost tempted to go back to Amazon. I'm crooked already. I can tell because this is getting smaller. That means it's going to get longer at this end. Piece number 3. The reason this one is 1/4 of an inch shorter is because when we fold it in, we don't want it to bang into this piece. We want to have a little bit of space for when we fold it in. So we're going to glue this piece on. And these are really common measurements. A lot of times it's 6 by 8 and 5 3/4 by 8. Or even 8 1/2. But you usually you can get by sometimes when you're doing mini albums. They're usually 8 by 8. I love mini albums. Maybe I'll do one. Leave the space for writing instead of for photos, you know. Make it a mini album journal. I've made one before. I haven't made one in a while. I'd get one of my paper pads out. Maybe my Tim Holtz. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments below if you think you would like to see something like that. If you don't know what a mini album is, you can look them up. No, that's way crooked. Let's see how close that is. Okay, this is too short. Let's bring it up. And bring it together just a little bit. You have to be careful. You don't want it to be so close together that this corner hits this, or this edge hits this edge when you fold it, because then the deal won't fold. That's no good. Okay, this is number 4, which is the 3-inch spine. That is definitely on the paper overlap. Okay, I'm going to put this one on. And we'll use our guide. And then bring it in some. Oopsie. That's no good, is it? Okay. We just have a couple more pieces to go. This is a 4-in-1 tool, 5-in-1 tool. You can get it on Amazon. This does the difference, you know, the width between here. This will show you the perfect angle to cut your paper. This is a straight edge. This is holes if you're going to make holes in the corners of your book, and it's also a rounded corner that you can mark off. Then it's also got a rounded edge here with another rounded edge there, so you can take it like this and round the corners of your book. And it's a ruler. So it is nifty neato. It's about $8 on Amazon, I mean on Temu, and it's a little bit more than that on Amazon. So if you prefer Amazon, then this one I got from Temu. It's the exact same as the metal one I got from Amazon. I got one as a gift for my friend because it's so nifty neato. I knew she would like it, and she did. Very useful as a gift to another bookmaker, especially if you're doing like a Christmas swap or something and your limit is $10. Buy them one of those. Comes with instructions, comes with an instruction sheet to tell you what to do with it so that you get your 5, you know, uses out of it. This takes a lot of glue, just so you know. I have a feeling I'm going to be able to put the cover together and then I'm going to be stuck. Okay, let's get these last 2 on. Like I said, you want to make sure to get right to the edge on these spines so they don't bubble up when you open them. I was a little careless on my other one. I had 9 pieces to put together and I was like, what? It was 4 pieces of paper wide. It was insane. If you're not bothered by the smell of Fabri-Tac, believe it or not, by the time you get to about the 4th or 5th piece of this, it will actually start to bother you a little bit. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, and the last one. And then doing the folding over of the cover is really quite easy. It's just a little goofy on the long sides. You get so much to fold over, and then you just cut the corners, and then you just glue it down. And now, believe it or not, this extra long at the end, I can actually slide up onto the paper trimmer and trim it off straight. So there's 1 inch left at the end. Let's make sure this is off, just because we don't want to leave little bumps. I don't know why it was that messy over the top of it. Okay, so these are all of our covers. Let me trim the ends so they're not super long. So you just slide it just like this right up on the paper trimmer, and then trim about a 1/2 inch. On this other end it's about 1 inch. And you just trim it right off. Trim this edge off. And I think I'll take 3/4 off of this one. Okay. And we're gonna fold these up the way we're gonna want the paper to go. Oopsie. You have to be careful of your seams. If you didn't have quite enough glue on it, we'll have to glue it again. I was crooked on this. Looks like this one came a little bit loose too. Guess I must have been stingy on the glue. Okay, then you're going to put glue inside along the edge. Nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to trim the corners first like regular people. So you're going to go in, go at a little angle out by about 1/8 of an inch, trim your corner. I knew something looked funny. Go in, about 1/8 of an inch, go back out. I knew something looked amiss. And we're going to go in. Okay. I'm going to put glue on here. Could have folded this one a little bit closer. Okay, then you're going to bring it up and you're just going to glue it so that the paper will stick to this. You want to make sure that it's going to stick. Then you're going to take this, let me turn it around the other way. Sorry about the camera. And you're just going to lift it up and slide it towards yourself. And that's why you made that little bit of a fold, so the paper kind of knew what you were going to do. Okay. Oh my gosh, look what I did. What did I do? Sometimes with the cream colored paper you can see the glue through it, and I'm not really sure why. It is definitely thick enough paper that you shouldn't. Just flip it over. I'm really not happy with this. So I got this wrinkle right here. Now I put too much. Let's do the other long side. See if I can do it a little bit better than I did the other one. Now, I'm not planning on doing anything fancy on the cover because I want to be able to slide it in on the bookshelf in between other things. And so I don't want a bunch of stuff on the front. I want it to be utilitarian, kind of plain Jane. what I'm getting on my paper. I forgot to fold this up, but I can get it going while the glue's on it. That's fine. One of these takes at least 2/3 of a bottle of glue, an 8-ounce bottle of glue. So now before we fold it all the way, let's just kind of lift it up as if we had done it before we put the glue on it. We're gonna slide it over. No, this is all glue. Do the short ends the same way. The glue is about $10 at Walmart, and I think it's about $13 at Amazon. Walmart might have had it on sale though. I use both. I compare prices, and I compare prices at Temu as well, but you know, you can't really get Fabri-Tac at Temu. So right, this is the one that's fun. Flip it up, try not to hit the camera, slide it over. Yeah, I can't believe how much I'm gonna have to clean up on this. Should have made sure my work surface was cleaner. Okay, the corners look good. This end. Yeah, see, that cleans it all up. Except for that wrinkle right there, which most of it's going to be covered by our paper, and I'm hoping that we won't notice it at all. But it still angers me that it's there. I'm not happy. I hope you can't hear the radio. I could get sued. It's on really, really low, but I'm listening to MSNBC. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get into politics and stuff about what I'm listening to. But I'm pretty sure it's not legal to rebroadcast it. I mean, I'm 99.9% sure. Hey, but then again, my daughter at the age of 38 was 99.9% sure her birth control was going to work too. Sorry, Leah. I named my channel and everything after her. Her nickname is Sweet Pea. Called her that since she was born. Little bald head. She looked like a little sweet pea. Plus she was sweet. She peed a lot. No. I'm kidding. It's because she was as cute as a little sweet pea. Okay, so let's clean this up. I have to do some clean up on aisle 5 over here, that's for sure. It's because I didn't rub the Good Luck Frog, that's why. I wonder if it's too late now. Rub him for good luck. Good morning, mister. Okay, there we go. All good. So now we're gonna flip it back over and get it dirty again. And we need pieces to cover here, here, and here, which I don't have right in front of me. Gosh darn it. So I'm gonna need a piece, what did I say? Not 8 inches, 7 3/4. Yes. Then we're going to need one 5 inches wide. We need 1 inch on either side. So there's the one for our 3-inch spine. Let's check the height on that. That looks fine. This will do fine for my 1.5. I'm not sure how wide it is, but it looks fine. And this one will work for that. Oops, this isn't short. Not really sure why, but it's not. So we have enough time for me to do one, and then you can do the other 2. Then we'll be all caught up. We're not going to do the flip flap, thing like we normally do. We're going to put signatures in and put the ephemera in those. And then we're going to put ephemera on these. This is my big plan. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. I've never made an ephemera holder before. I don't usually carry ephemera over from one kit to the next. I did do mainly the LineDotArrow ephemera, mainly because it had the black lines, because I had talked to Natalie about that, and she was gracious enough to help out for us people that have to use a scan and cut. And so there's that, plus her neutrals in this kit can easily go along with some of her other kits. And since I do 1 or 2 journals a month for her, that will help me out. Suzanne's are gorgeous as well. You want to get really close to the edge on this. Then you definitely want to get the center. This is a little different than the way I normally glue, but you definitely want to get the center on this one, because you don't want it to bubble up when you fold it up. I've had it happen and it's awful. You put all this work in and then kaboom. Okay, you want to put this equal side to side, equal top to bottom. You'd like for it to be straight. That would be good as well. It would make you happy. Try to catch any glue seepage. Got that. And then take your bone folder. Got a big mess going on over here. Stuff is flying everywhere for some weird reason. This thickness of this is the exact thickness of that tool that we used. So makes it really easy to do this. You just want to slide it along, kind of get that groove there where it's going to fold. So you just like bending this up to get that little bit of a memory thing going on. You kind of want to do that with this. You don't want to use the point. You can use the front end so that you can put more pressure down with your finger. You don't want to use the point because then you're just going to poke it through the paper. That's no good. So you're just going to do that on the other 2, and then when we come back in the next video, then that's where we'll be. Then we'll put our eyelets in, because we know where we're going to do them. And then, look, my finger stuck to the, I have glue on my finger. I pressed down so hard. Then we will go from there. We'll put the papers on. And they'll be for our bigger envelopes, things like that. And then we'll go from there. Okay? All right. Well, I'll see you in the next video. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye. Have a good night.